Boom, what is up guys, it is Dan here, MTG Tavern. So, we're going to be playing some Living End on the channel. So we went 5-0, I think, in a league with a build similar to this. I've made some slight changes to the mana base that I don't particularly like, but in general I think the build's pretty solid. We'll come back to the main board in a second. I've also made a few changes to the sideboard. I've never been a big fan of Leyline of the Void. It's still the same case. I've always felt in certain matchups, in most matchups, Macabre is just better. But that's always just been my personal opinion. I've also brought in some Ricochet traps to back up the Griefs in the main board. And a couple of them got Chewers plus Foundation Breaker. I'm going to give Baleful Mastery a try out for today, ready to deal with Teferi Time Ravelers. I don't know if this card's actually that good. I just think Shriekwall most of the time is going to be better, but we're going to give it a try for today. I just think that, like, I don't know if it's that good against Teferi Time Raveler. Obviously, it gets rid of Teferi Time Raveler, but, I mean, you still have to pay the 2 mana. But anyway, and they draw a card as well, which is obviously a big deal. Right, let's talk about this main board then. So obviously, the big addition to this deck has been Grief. Like, that's been huge. And now we can play Monstrous Carabin, which gets a little bit better. We have Fulminate's Mage, which is now a little bit better. I've never really been a big fan of Fulminate's Mage in Living Ends, ever since Tron was not really a big deck in the format anymore. Fulminate's Mage just feels a lot worse, especially when Force of Negation was printed, I think. Oddly enough, even though Force of Negation doesn't counter Fulminate's Mage, it just means now there's no real value to getting rid of those Control X lands like it used to be. You used to, just take away the resources and then just cast Living Ends in succession, like End Step, Living End, untap Living End, and they couldn't counter everything. But now, because they have Force of Negation, weirdly enough, even though Fulminate's Mage doesn't care about Force of Negation, it feels like it doesn't do the job against Control that it used to. But it is black in color, just like Monstrous Carabid, so it is good for Grief as well. Other than that, like, it's 20 Cyclers, 4 Fulminate's Mages, 4 Griefs, Cascade Spells, Living End. Simple as you like. And I do think Grief has actually added that to Jund Living End. I do think it's made it so you can play a more simple game plan. I've always been of the opinion with Jund Living End that you should be flexible. You should try different cards out so you can just pivot and move to a plan B in the main board with Bloodbraid Elves and stuff like that. But I don't think you need to do that anymore with Grief here. I think it's perfectly fine. We've got extra Demonic Dreads here again for Grief. And also Valakut Awakening, I think Valakut Awakening secretly might be one of the best cards in this deck, particularly in Jund Living End. Because if you think about it, sometimes you draw these cards, or you draw Living Ends, especially on MTGO, but particularly with Demonic Dread, and you can't do anything with it because your opponent hasn't got a creature. Well, the 2 Valakut Awakenings can shuffle those cards back in now, or can put them on the bottom and draw some different cards instead. So I actually think this card is pretty good, actually. Other than that, there's not really too much to say. So let's just go see some games. Oh, we'll try and find a game. That was pretty quick. I have no idea really what is going on with Modern right now. I know there's like an Affinity deck, which is pretty good. There's Asmo Food. There's loads of different decks, I guess. Wow, that is... we get to cast 2 Griefs on turn 1, but no good. Into... Guess we'll keep... We probably shouldn't get rid of Demonic Dread. We'll probably get rid of the Overgrown Tomb. But yeah, we probably shouldn't get rid of Demonic Dread just in case they have Thoughtseize. They're probably not going to have Thoughtseize. It looks like we're against Merfolk, probably. Not a great matchup. Ugh, bad draws. Okay, let's go Verdant Catacombs and pass. We can fetch a Shockland out tapped. Might make a difference, but Merfolk is not a particularly good matchup for Living End. Wow, so they are, like, all in on that Aether Vial. Okay. Let's get the Overgrown Tomb tapped. I haven't played MTGO in a while, but we're still getting mana flooded. Some things never change, yeah? Some things just never change. I might not even cycle the Archfiend if now at this point. I genuinely might not even cycle it. Like, we're reasonably close to being able to cast it, so, like, why cycle it, really? Actually, one good thing for us is the fact that our opponent might have, like, Force of Negations in the hand. It is that kind of deck. Let's see what's going on with our opponent here. Okay. So if we were on the play... Wow, our opponent paid off for the Master of the Pearl Trident there, putting it into their graveyard. Okay. Looks like we're probably trying to find a land, though. Okay, cycle Archfiend if near. We will cycle it now. There's a Grief. Ah, okay. Grief, this is your chance to shine, my friend. Because now this goes to the graveyard. Ooh, and another Archfiend. Sweet. Right, so let's play our land. Let's exile... What are the odds they have 2 Force of Negations in their hand? It doesn't seem likely. Let's go ahead and Grief. Looks like they don't have anything in their hand. We'll go ahead and just check that hand. Lord of Atlantis, Merfolk. Oh my god, it's all creatures. No! It's all creatures. I guess we have to give them the card we want them... Oh my god. We need to give them the a card that we really just... Like, we need to give them a card we don't want them to have. That sounds kind of weird, but we need to give them... We need to put something into the graveyard that we don't want them to reanimate. So we don't want to give them the Regery. We don't want to give them the Atlantis. Or the Mistbinder. Phantasmal Image. Oh, Phantasmal Image! Okay, so the ruling on Phantasmal Image is really weird. You actually don't get the card because it needs to have a copy as when it comes onto the battlefield. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Upkeep. And then we're going to go ahead, we'll let them use this. And then we will go ahead here and... Actually, you know what? We don't need to do anything. We don't need to do anything. Because, like, if they draw Force of Negation, they can't cast it. They drew a land anyway. Perfect, okay. We'll let them explore. It's a breeding pool. They can have the breeding pool. That's fine. See, there is a really weird ruling with this. It has to have a target whilst entering the battlefield, and with Living End, you it comes onto the battlefield at the same time as the creature, so it doesn't target them. So now we can just go ahead and this should be the game. We're gonna get a lot of value here. We even get to check their hand again and take another creature. That was insane, man. Grief is looking really good for this deck. Yeah, you see that they don't get the. They don't get to copy a creature because there was no creature on the battlefield when it entered the battlefield. Let's take the Regery, put that in the graveyard, and we're looking pretty good here. Because we even have the site. We can even cycle the next Archfiend if we want to. And ooh, it's looking better and better for us. Let's get in there. 8 damage. Take that, Merfolks. So we know our opponent has... Oh my god. They have land... And what else do they have? Was it the Mistbinder? No, the Mistbinder's gone. I think they have Lord of Atlantis and land. They can animate that. Really now? Okay. Please do it. Yep, we're going to let this happen. We are going to let this happen. Okay. So this won't kill the creatures, but I don't really care. Cycle. Trigger. Pimp Fiend! Pimp Fiend! Come on, we need one more cycling card out of this card or our next one. Pimp Fiend's doing it again. Like, we might not even kill these creatures, but that's fine. They're pretty small now. Valakut Awakening is not really what we want, but we'll take it. It lets us dig a few cards deep. Get rid of some of these lands. So our opponent's got one unknown in hand. What do we hit? Huh. I guess if we're going to draw that, I'm pretty happy it's now. Should I play a land first? Our opponent's just going to concede. Yeah. This game's super over. Okay, sorry if I'm a bit like all over the place, guys. I haven't played Living End in actually quite a while. I haven't played Living End in a while. I wonder if I went to bring in Baleful Mastery. This really doesn't feel like the matchup for Baleful Mastery. I don't want to give the Merfolk deck even more cards. And like, you take out one Lord, who gives a fuck? Like, who cares? So I don't think we're going to bring that in. I think Anger is fine. We might bring in Ingot Chewers just to take out an early Aether Vial. And is Desert Ceradon just the card we get rid of now? Or maybe it's just Fulminator Mages, which don't really do much in this matchup. Yeah, let's go to Fulminator Mages. Sucks because that's a black card we can't pitch to Grief. But I mean, we still have, what, 16 plus 3 Living Ends plus 4 Demonic Dreads. So we're talking like almost half of our library. Well, almost half is probably going a bit far. Man, with the Mana Flood today. We'll mulligan that. Okay, sound is pretty good. Put back the Living End. Over to you, opponent. There is an Aether Vial. Ingot Chewer. Okay, let's go Grove of the Bone Willows and pass. We could play Verdant Catacombs, but we don't want to fetch and thin our library even more. You got it. Let's cycle this one. Notably, we definitely want to cycle the Desert Celadon first hit because this is black, so if we do hit a Grief, we can do that instead. Okay, over to your opponent. This opponent doesn't have any 1-drops. Usually the Merfolk we really care about are the 1-drop Merfolk because they exile our graveyard. Or like Curse Catcher can sacrifice 2, make us pay 1 for a Living End. Right, so this is... Target lands becomes an island. Okay, fine. Was it kicked? Oh, yes, 2 mana. Okay. Sure, gain a life. And I guess we'll just cycle this now. Another land. Okay, well, we did need to find a land. Probably a few too many lands at this point. Huh? Does it... I have no idea what's going on here. Is it just an island as well as its other types? I guess we'll find out shortly. Right, let's cycle. Desert Celadon, okay. We need a green source of mana. So let's go ahead and just play Verdant Catacombs, I think. So our goal here is to end step Violent Outburst. Yep, that's going to happen. Yeah, we'll end step Violent Outburst. If our opponent activates during combat, we might go ahead and do something there, but it looks like they're not going to. So yeah, we're going to go and end step Violent Outburst here, and unless they have 2 Force of Negations plus a blue card in hand, they probably can't counter everything. So let's go ahead and go green, red. Oh, just tap for blue. Okay. Cast Violent Outburst. Cast a Living End. Oh, okay, that's just game. That's probably just game at this point. I mean, that is a lot of power on board. I don't know what kind of Merfolk build this is, but it's doesn't seem optimal, to say the least. 4, 8, 60, 14. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and let this happen. And we are going to play an untapped Grove of the Bone Willows here. We might have to emergency Living End. Merfolk can just put a lot of power on board out of absolutely nowhere. Usually it does involve Aether Vial, but that's, you know, not the point. Seems unlikely they're going to do that here, but it could happen. But yeah, like, I've seen enough Merfolk to know that you feel like you're safe, and then just out of nowhere, they flash in Merfolk on your end step, play a couple of laws, and all of a sudden you're like, dead. You're just dead. If our opponent doesn't do anything here, I'm just going to go Valakut Awakening on end step. Just pitch a couple of lands, I think. I want to keep the Desert Celadon for growing Horror of the Broken Lands if we need to. Master of the Pearl Trident. Okay. They are going to get him for 3. Ooh. Mirror Regery. Sure. Wait, shouldn't they have put this down first? Cool, okay. So whenever you cast a Merfolk, so they'd have to have a Merfolk with Flash at this point. Let's Undo that. Which one of these is an island? Oh, neither of them. What am I talking about? Okay, let's go ahead and do this. I don't want to let them gain a life, that's the thing, because that could be a big difference. Pitch 2 of these. Any order? Okay. There's a Pimp Fiend. Unfortunately, we can't Pimp Fiend plus shrink their team. But what we can do is cycle Pimp Fiend, then cast a Living End during their upkeep. And then that should be the game, because the Pimp Fiend would presumably fly over. I don't think our opponent's going to tap down all of our team here. They can tap down 2, so they can cast a Merfolk with Flash. Usually it's the one that taps down one of our creatures. And then they can also use Mirror Readry to tap down another one of our creatures. Another land, really now. Really. Okay, let's go and attack. Just gonna let it happen. Okay, cool. Opponent will block. And opponent will block. I'm debating if I want to keep this alive or not. I don't think I do. I think I want this to happen. So then our creatures die, and we're about to cast another Living End. I think that's fine. I genuinely think that's fine. We'll lose our creatures, and we'll go to their turn. Opponent's got 1 card in hand plus their draw step. See, we'll let that die because if we cast another Living End, we want to get these back. Our opponent's going to get back creatures as well. A Phantasmal Image. Okay. They're going to copy Monstrous Carabid. That is a show of weakness right there. That is a big show of weakness. What do we have? Desert Celadon, Horror. We're in a bit of an awkward situation now because I don't want to cycle this Archfiend Infinite because I might want to cast it next turn. Let's take the 2 damage. We know we're doing that. Actually, you know what? I think I've changed my mind. I think I've changed my mind here. I think I'm going to cast Archfiend. Oh, wow, that's game. Assuming this resolves, that's just game. So let's go ahead and put down the Verdant Catacombs. We're going to fetch for a basic swamp now. I want to make sure I have the black mana available as soon as it hits the field. So do this, do this, do this, and this. Cast Archfiend. Right, that resolved. Okay, that is probably game. Yeah, we'll attack for 4. That's fine. We'll let that creature go. I feel like we're just in complete control of this game. I genuinely do think we're in complete control of it. Okay, opponent's going to just crack that for another land. Okay. Or for another card, should I say. They do still need to get rid of this. And they don't get there. Okay. I might have misplayed there. I don't know. I feel like I must have misplayed there at some point in game number 2. I'll have to go back and watch it, actually. Like, I really feel like I misplayed there at some point, and so I did something inoptimal. Anyway, let's go play another game. That was a good start. Merfolk has traditionally not been a good matchup for Living End, certainly since Force of Negation got printed. That was a pretty cool start. Okay, let's play first. Oh my god. We're really good at drawing lands with Cascade spells today, aren't we? Yes, seems to be a common theme. We are on the play, though, so I think I'm going to take a risk on this one. We need to draw no more lands or Cascade spells, so that's probably asking a lot. But still. Let's play this Overgrown Tomb tapped. Island. Everybody's got to play blue. Everybody's... Should I even play this out? Because this is clearly like a janky Ponza deck or something like that. We'll play it out for a little bit, but don't hate me if I just go to the next game. Like, wow. That is an unfortunate draw. Don't hate me if I just go to the next game, because clearly our opponent's not playing a good deck. Actually, if it's Merfolk, I'll move to the next game as well. Yeah, I don't want to be salty here, but like we just played against Merfolk. Like, I don't want to play against Merfolk all day. Not only that, but like my opponent's build was obviously like complete jank as well. Like a 1-mana enchantment. But I don't know that much about Merfolk. Maybe I'm wrong, but still. I probably should keep this hand, but we do need to find a red source of mana. But I think I'm going to take a risk on it. We get a lot of cycles. Everybody's got to play blue. Everybody in MTGO apparently has to play blue, right? Oh dear, okay. So now we're putting a high priority on keeping Monstrous Carabid in our hand, just in case we draw Grief. So we can check our opponent's hand before we cast Grief. Before we cast the Living End. That's the goal. Oh dear. And it's Esper control. Yay. Okay, cycle. Valak Awakening's not a bad draw. There's the Grief. Wow. But our opponent could have Counterspell. So I think we're better off waiting for next turn for this. Let's just go ahead and do this now. Play this tapped and pass. I guess I didn't need to play tap because we're against control, but still, we don't really have anything to do with that mana right now. Okay, cycle. Wow. Wow. Holy crap, we can destroy their hand here. We can absolutely, like, potentially just annihilate their hand. Okay, let's... I guess we'll get rid of Monstrous Carabid first. I think out of the two, I'd rather have Street Wraith. Counterspell, fine. Okay, so Grief number 2. Check the hand again. So what do we have here? We've got a Prismatic Ending. That's going to do nothing against us. Batterskull, and what does Daken do? Exile target creature. I think we just take Daken here. And then we're going to take like the rest of their hand anyway. Oh my god. Oh my god. We just got 4 cards out of them. I mean, I know we gave up like a whole bunch of cards as well. Oh my god. Jesus. I mean, our top decks were pretty good, but bear in mind, we drew a lot of lands there. Holy crap. I mean, it was a bit fortunate to get the second Grief. To be honest, I probably would have gone for a Living End there anyway, even if we didn't have the second Grief. Like, I would have just gone for it. Like, if they have Force of Negation, they have it. Jesus. Okay, I guess we're bringing in Baleful Mastery to deal with Teferis, but we don't even know if they have Teferi in the deck. So maybe we don't bring these in. We're definitely bringing in Ricochet Trap, that's for sure. Where are you? Ricochet Trap, get in here. And I might want to keep Fulminator Mages, actually, because you can kind of color screw Esper control. Excuse me, rather than blue-white. Let's just trim a Demonic Dread and a Desert Ceradon. We kind of can't really do much with Demonic Dread anyway. Sweet. Let's kind of weird they're playing Dak, and I don't think that Planeswalker is very good. There's a we probably have to keep based on Ricochet Trap. Like, we don't really have a lot going on, but we've got, like, lands. That's good. Lands are always good, of course. Opponent mulligan to 6. Now, they are a deck that does draw a lot of cards. Wow, good draw. Good draw. Alright, so we'll go Blackleaf Cliffs and pass. We are playing 6 fast lands in this one. Usually I don't like playing that many. I usually go for 5. So that seems to be they either have Counterspell and they know we're not going to be doing anything, or they just don't have it in hand. Basically, we got no information from them playing the land tapped, so no good. Oh my god. Nice. Okay, let's play this now while we still can. Untapped. Double Fulminator Mage is pretty nice. Vindicate, you say? I mean, I guess we'll cycle. Is a bit of a weird. Yeah, I guess it's pretty good. Like, why wouldn't you have Vindicate? Sure. Big question here is, do we want to Street Wraith? I don't think we do. We have to respect Kaya's Guile. Okay, let's play this tapped, I think. Just keep going for now. Would have been nice if our opponent would have opted first, right? Because then we would have been able to pay 1 red mana for this to then redirect it to one of their lands. I don't think I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith here because I want to have a black card in case we draw Grief. Right, let's go fetch. I kind of wish I wouldn't have done this, actually. I don't mind hitting land drops, although we have got a whole bunch of lands. We have drawn a lot of lands. Right, let's go and get Blood Crypt. And let's go Fulminator Mage. I strongly suspect we're about to get Cryptic Commanded. But hopefully it's just a counter spell here. No, it's Cryptic Command. In a weird way, we kind of don't care. Are they just okay? I would rather you return that land back to my hand than do that, than draw a card. Esper Sentinel, okay. It's a good card. Let's just go for Fulminator Mage number 2, I guess. You're going to counter this as well? Like, I think this is terrible play by our opponent. Like, you've got 5 lands. How much, like, unless I've got, like, a 5-mana Planeswalker in hand, then I could understand. Like, they've got the big Teferi. But, like, this card means nothing. Wait, look how many lands they've got, and you're protecting your lands? It doesn't... Our opponent just lost the game. To protect a land. This is extremely poor play, in my opinion. Like, really poor play. They do get to draw a card next turn, though. But, I mean, we have the answer to a Force of Negation. Not that they could cast a Force of Negation anyway. Okay, let's just go ahead and play this out. And then we'll just go green, red, whatever. Yeah, we want to cast this now before. So you can draw your card. We want to do it before they get... Oh, we can just pay the 1, can't we? What am I talking about? There we go. Just pay the 1. You don't get to draw the card. Yeah, I could have done this during their turn, I guess, but they've got no cards in hand, so whatever. And I guess we just cut them off of black mana here. Like, black mana. Black mana. Cool. Probably should have cycled Street Wraith there, actually. Oops. Yeah, our opponents put so much effort into destroying our lands, and it's just, like, not a big deal. They got Castle Vantress there. They can return this back to their hand, of course. Another lantern. Man, we are getting so mana flooded. I'm going to cycle this now, just to grow the horror. We might draw more cycles. I'm kind of tempted to go Violent Outburst again. Yeah, I think we're going to go Violent Outburst again this turn. So we're going to grow these now. Return that back to your hand. Okay, I'm not too sure why we're doing that now, but whatever. Doesn't really matter, does it? And we'll play the land. Violent Outburst. And that's the game. Yeah, really not good play from our opponent there. Like, countering... I mean, we had the answer to a counter spell anyway. But, like... And I can kind of understand Cryptic commanding the first Fulminate Mage. I get that. I personally wouldn't have returned a permanent back to our hand. I would have drawn a card. But yeah, like, using a counter spell on the second Fulminate Mage is just like, you've got 5 lands out. Like, how many lands do you need? Like, and, like, if we cast the Living End, then your counter spell essentially achieved nothing. Like, our Fulminate Mage basically turned into a counter spell of their hand, or like a Thoughtseize that made them tap 2 lands. Is really bizarre play there. Anyway, let's go and play another one. Grief was really impressive there, though. Grief was really, really impressive. Speaking of grief, Matt, what do we have to do to be on the play? Were we on the play against Merfolk? No, we weren't on the play last match. We'll keep this hand, though. It's got the grief in it. I think the big question is, when do you actually use grief? I guess it's matchup dependent. Street Wraith. Not a good start for us, really. Not a good start for us. Oh. Oh, it's the cookbook thing. Okay, cool. I don't really know this deck that well, to be honest. There's a land. Perfect. I wonder if I'm meant to grief here or not. I don't think we're meant to. I think it's better to wait. We could potentially, like, cast Living End to get rid of this soon. Hopefully they don't have Thoughtseize or something. Living End could kind of counter this, couldn't it? Unfortunately, they will get back the Street Wraith, but that's not the point. What have you got, opponent? Smuggler's Copter. Is that seen playing that deck? I guess it does discard cards, so, like, why not? Okay, let's cycle. I am going to cycle here. There's a very good chance we don't cast Grief this game. There's a Street Wraith. That's nice. There's a Desert Ceradon. That's also very nice. Yeah, there is a very good chance we don't cast this game. I just don't think it's relevant. I genuinely don't think it's relevant. Opponent's going to get rid of a land. They draw a card. Like I said, the unfortunate thing for our opponent is when they get this back, it just doesn't matter. Does this have haste? It doesn't even have haste, so like they can use it to crew the Smuggler's Copter, but like whatever. You create a food, sacrifice it to return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Is this the normal build of this? Because, like, this feels like such a good matchup for us. Like, a really good matchup for us. Like, insanely good. You got it. Discard that card if you even want to. You don't have to. Put a card. They probably should because we're playing Living End. You might hit a big creature, which is worth it. I don't think our opponent knows what we're playing. Well, maybe they do. Right, let's cycle Pimp Fiend. Well, I did want to play with Griefs, but apparently doesn't really matter anymore, does it? Okay, let's play this untapped. Shock ourselves in. Give our opponent the opportunity to activate that Smuggler's Copter again. I'm debating if I want to cycle the Street Wraith or not. Oh! I guess it's only like... Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm like kind of killing my own PC here. So I guess our opponent would sacrifice 2-3 creatures, which wouldn't be a big deal. Like 3 damage to us. Yeah, they'll sacrifice... Whenever they play us, 1 damage to any target. Yeah. I think that's fine. I'm going to do this with a trigger on the stack. Just so they don't put a creature into the graveyard. I think I actually will cycle Street Wraith here. There's a horror. That's quite nice. Yeah, we can really shrink down there. Street Wraith next turn. So 3 damage, wherever you like. Take your pick. Do you want to go for me? Do you want to go for my creatures? Probably no point going for my creatures. You have it. Five, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we can't kill our opponent next turn, I don't think. Street Wraith. Nice. Nice. Okay, we will attack. Get in there with everything. So opponents, they've got to get rid of... They've either got to kill us or kill Archfiend next turn. Yeah, I guess we'll play this tapped. They got 2 of these guys in the graveyard. Wow. We do need to be careful actually with this, and if they hold one of these in hand in response to a living end, we'll probably bring in Ferromacarbs, which are obviously going to be pretty good in this one. Ferromacarb, I'm a massive fan of Ferromacarb. Opponent drew an Urza Saga. I don't know why they showed us that, but still. Okay. So Ferromacarbs come in. Do we bring in Ingot Chewers? We probably do, don't we? I don't think we want Anger of the Gods, although it does hit the Asmo that card that nobody knows how to say. And I do think I'm taking out Griefs here. I don't think Griefs are that good, and we could probably take out some Fulminator Mages as well. So maybe Anger of the Gods are just better. And then we'll just like bring in a Baleful Mastery. Can probably trim one of these as well for another Baleful Mastery. I think I'm on board for that. I think that's fine. Actually, Baleful Mastery does get rid of the big creature, and they draw a card instead. I guess if we go to game 3, I might bring in the one that removes artifacts or enchantments, because I think it's really the artifacts we really care about here. This is very much a no keeper. This is a lot of Cascade spells. You don't keep those hands. This hand is not a lot better, to be honest, but it does have stuff we can do. So let's go for a risky keep with this one, and we'll get rid of an Anger of the Gods. This is a really risky keep, by the way. This is like super risky. We have to draw mana pretty much straight away. Leyline, Leyline. We might bring in the big guy, the green guy afterwards. No, we didn't hit the right land drop. Okay, I'm still not too sure if the evoke creature is good or not. I don't know if Force of Vigor is just better still. Not just because they happen to have 2 ley lines out, of course, that'd be ridiculous, but more a case of, is it just generally better to use that or not? Because it can pick off potentially 2 permanents, and you don't have to pay any mana for it, of course. There's Urza Saga, okay. Thoughtseize, you say? Go ahead. Playing through all of their sideboard cards. Not bad. They took the Ingot Chewer. Seems smart. Okay. We will cycle the Horror here, I guess. There's a land. Not really the land we want, but I'll take it. Ooh. Okay. Pass to you. We do still need red mana for this. I'm not going to cycle Street Wraiths here. There's no point making our life total much lower than it needs to be. Ugh. Okay, now we will. A land! Huzzah! We did it! If we can get to the point where we can cast this, that'd be pretty cool. You get a 1-1. Nice. Yeah, we just want to hit our land drops, and then I'm feeling pretty good. So they're going to make a second one in response. I am tempted to cash this in. I'm no longer tempted to cash this in. I'm no longer tempted. Okay, opponent's got a land. And a cookbook. We are actually going to cash this in, I think. I think I'm going to cash this in. So opponent gets back a Street Wraith, but they might want to discard something now. Gonna make 2 foods. Okay, makes sense. You're going to discard a card as well. We have the ability to exile anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You can have your Street Wraith. So our Living End essentially countered the Urza Saga, because they ended up with a Street Wraith, which is a bit harder for us to deal with, although we have no swamps at the minute, it's worth noting, so we can block eventually. Oh my god. Let's cycle. I want to hit a land drop. Ugh. Ugh. Let's pass the turn. I will cycle Archfiend on end step. I'm just a little bit worried that they will get back a big thing. We're going to take the damage here, I think. Yep. Oh my god. Oh, that's disgusting. That's a good draw. Wow, that might be the game. Okay, let's cycle this. Oh my god. There's a land. Unfortunately, it comes out tapped. Unfortunately, it's a tapped land. Not that it would help us out too much here, but still. Okay, we're going to exile this. I don't think they can get rid of it. So that gets exiled. Okay. I was hoping to use the that on something bigger, but I'll take it for now. Watch our opponent just have another Cauldron Familiar here or something like that. Create a food token. Okay. It's down to one card in hand. What have we got? Oh my god, seriously. Okay. Okay, Demonic Dread it is. Cast Living End. Luckily they don't have anything in their hand or their graveyard. Opponent can sacrifice a creature as well, it's worth noting. Yeah. That's going to come back. Oh, we're just super dead. Okay. We're not winning this. Let's just go to the next game. Yeah, I probably should have gone for Anger of the Gods. Probably my mistake there. Right, so yeah, these are coming in. Why is MTGO being a pain? There we go. We got it. Why are you... What is going on? It's not letting me select stuff. God, I hate MTGO at times. I really do. That's got it. Okay. So... Let's get rid of these guys. Do we want Baleful Masteries? Too late now. Okay, no lander again. This hand's pretty good. Although we can't really deal with the ley line right now. But we have draws for the ley line at least this time. We'll get rid of a... Let's get rid of the Anger of the Gods. It wasn't actually that good last game, was it? Maybe it shouldn't be in the deck. Opponent's got no ley line. Interesting. Okay, let's shock and say go. With no ley line, this is a lot better for us. Why are they cycling Street Wraith there? There's a Witch's Oven, okay. Let's go ahead and cycle. Triple Street Wraith. Okay, perfect. Pass to our opponent. We just haven't found any sideboard cards. I mean, I think we found one removal spell. We have found the Anger of the Gods, to be fair, so maybe I shouldn't complain. Ugh. Good top deck. Good top deck. You would assume it's a top deck, because why wouldn't you have cast it last turn? The good news for us, though, is that we can find... Baleful Mastery is not bad. I'm going to fetch here and not shock. I don't want to take too much damage. We're not going to cycle these Street Wraiths here. We're going to wait. Okay, now I probably will do. Until we can hit a land. That's a land. That's probably game. Unless our opponent has Surgical or something. Over to your opponent. Because what we can end step Violent Outburst, untap Baleful Mastery, let them have a card, but we can take out the Street Wraith as well. So that's kind of cool. They top deck a land. Yeah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. That's not going to happen. There's another land. Okay, cycle Street Wraith. There's an Archfiend. Okay, not an ideal time to draw that, but never mind. Violent Outburst. Cast Living End. What do you have, opponent? What do you have? Do you have Surgical? Surgical will be annoying, but we can deal with it. As you can see here, like, it's... Our opponent can't block our Street Wraiths, and Yeah, if they don't take Baleful Mastery here, then they're in trouble. In fact, our opponent's just dead. Because they can't block the Street Rifts, that's 9 points of damage, puts them down to 3. Trigger here for what it's worth, it's not worth much. And they can't block both of these. So they need to have a blocker, or they need to have a piece of removal. I guess they can sacrifice a creature to gain some life? Oh no, you have to pay 2 mana for the food token to gain the life, so yeah, that's not going to happen. Cauldron Familiar is going to help them a little bit, I guess. Like, they gain a life, don't they? So they have blockers now? Well, that's a bad top deck. Okay. By the way, not for the first time ever, back-to-back living ends. Back-to-back living ends. Happens all the time. Right, our opponent has to block, though. They don't have a choice. They have to block with both as well, I think. Yeah, they have to block with both. They can deal 8 damage here, then fair play to them. That's 1 damage. That's 2 damage. They might have it. We'll see if they've got it. They've got 1 damage here, or 2 damage here, so that puts us on 5, just from this. Bear in mind we dealt 6 damage to ourselves though with Street Wraiths. Damn. Yeah, I think our opponent has to kill us here, otherwise they lose. And quite frankly, I don't think they can gain enough life for this to matter, because they are taking 9 damage next turn, even if they find blockers for this. Yeah, we got there. Cool. Good variety of decks. Good to play against a non-blue deck for once. Right. I think we'll give it 1 or 2 matches. I don't know. Hang on. How long have we been going for? 52 minutes. Yeah, we might give it 1 more. Maybe if it's a quick one, we'll go 2 more. Is this the person we just played against? This might be if this is the person we just played against, I'll probably just go and find another game. We're on the draw again, by the way. On the draw again. I really want to keep this hand. But like, these are not the best cyclers ever. We have got lands and a cascade spell. Let's mulligan. Okay. And let's get rid of... Let's get rid of the... Yeah, the Demonic Drone. We can't actually cast that. We'll probably have to pitch a card to Grief anyway. As it is. Never mind. We're losing our Violent Outburst. Perfect. Okay. Play this and pass. I don't want to give away the fact that we have a land here. I'm not going to cast Grief. As we know against the... Oh, it's a Grief Ephemerate deck. Okay, cool. Dark Confidant, sure. I actually might cycle Street Wraith here. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to. It's not worth it. Okay, play Blackleaf Cliffs and pass. So we can double spell next turn by the look of it. We do need to find an actual win condition. Oh, Lingering Souls. It's pretty gross. Let's all against Orzhov stuff. You got it. You got it. 1 mana, discard a card. It's the worst Gataxian probe ever. By the way, this is why you don't cycle against these kind of decks, because they can top deck these kind of spells at any point. So it's just not worth you like cycling this early, because like, what have we lost? There might be a cycler on top of the library, but I mean, if we drew a Cascade spell, we could potentially lose the game that way. So that's why you don't do it. Or we can just draw. I mean, I guess we could pitch the Living End, to be fair. Oh, perfect. Okay, now I'm not unhappy about drawing the Living End. Let's go ahead and start with a Grief, pitching the Living End. Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix, Lingering Souls. I think I'm just taking the Helix here. I'm just going to take the burn spells, I think. Okay, let's do this now before they get to draw another card. We don't want them like finding Path to Exile or something. And we will be cycling Street Wraith here as well. So the reason we took Lightning Helix is we don't want them to gain 3 life. Oh, whatever. Whatever. I wanted to cycle Street Wraith, but never mind. Who cares? Right. Okay, over to your opponent. If Grief can, like, take 2 spells and trade with, like, half a Lingering Souls, that's not bad. That ain't bad. So we know about this, which is now gone. Our opponent's got 1 unknown in hand. Man, that makes such a big difference to the clock, though. That sucks. Ooh. Nice. Okay. We get to, on our opponent's draw step, get Grief back now. Okay, we're fetching for a swamp. What have we got? Okay, I can respect that. They get to just block with 1 spirit token now. Or no spirit tokens, I guess. Sure. Right, over to you, opponent. We can instant speed this. The question is, are we going to do it on a draw step? Maybe I should have done. No, actually, I want them to cast the Lingering Souls first. And they have done. Perfect. Take 2. Take 2. Okay. Let's fetch. Get a Blood Crypt. We're going to just take our time here. Let's play this tap. That's fine. So let's go ahead and attack. I want our opponent to play something else. I want to get another card out of them, to be honest. They're going to try and race us? Okay. That is a show of weakness. You should have attacked with everything, opponent, I think. Okay, let's go ahead and Violent Outburst here. And this time we will definitely cast Street Wraith afterwards. Notably, we can cast pretty much everything in our library now as well, so we don't need to worry about the fact this is our last living end. Clearly, our opponent is playing like more spells than anything else. They do get back the Bob, though. Ah, whatever. Psycho Street Wraith. Trigger. I probably played this in Optimity, to be honest. What do we hit? Ooh, nice one. Okay, cycle that one as well. We probably could have won the game last turn if I would have done this main phase. Trigger on Grief. Let's take a look at that hand. Okay. Bolt Grief. Still check your hand. Just a land. That's fine. So they've got a basic mountain in hand. That's a Desert Ceradon. I was wrong. There is 1 card we can't actually cast. Opponent's going to concede. They've had enough. Okay. There was actually 1 creature we couldn't cast, and that was the one. Do we bring in Ferromacarbs? I don't know if it's worth it just for Lingering Souls. Honestly, I don't know if that's really worth it. We probably will bring this in though because I'm expecting Leyline or Rest in Peace. I'm not really expecting artifact based graveyard hate. Although even if they do, like this can still take it out. We might bring in Anger of the Gods. We might bring in Anger. This card has been really impressive so far. Like really, really impressive. I don't know if I want Fulminator Mages. Let's just trim those. That'll do. What's going on with our opponent? I don't think this hand's very good, but I don't know if I want to put it back. I think we're going to keep this. Please leave with Inquisition on one, opponent. Well, you're not going to be playing Inquisition on one with that. Okay. Fully expecting a Rest in Peace at this point then. Oh my god, nice. Let's start with a fetch land. We want to get some lands out of our library. We've already got 4. Young Pyromancer. Gross. Yeah, let's get the Overgrown Tomb. Make sure we have plenty of green mana. Oh, you know what? They are essentially Mardu Pyromancer, so maybe I should have got a basic Swamp there. Because if we draw Demonic Dread as our out, that's the problem. Yeah, if they have Blood Moon, we might be in trouble. With that in mind then, maybe here we just... Yeah, maybe we just pitch the Street Wraith there. We want to keep Pimp Fiend, of course. Pimp Fiend's really good. But let's just go and check that hand. What have we got? Dark Confidant, Fatal Push, Lightning Helix, Young Pyromancer. We'll take the Helix. Yeah. I don't want them to discard any creatures, of course. I mean, it's not really a big deal. Like, Archfiend of Nick, like, deals with all of their creatures anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, Fatal Push we don't really care about. Obviously, the land we're not overly bothered. Well, now we know what they drew. Okay. Also worth noting, I didn't actually consider this, but also the Lightning Helix gets turned on with the Young Pyromancers as well. Okay, cycle. We drew both of these. That's annoying. Alright, we're going to play this tap, save our life total a little bit. I'm kind of confused about why my opponent didn't play anything out there. We knew their exact hands, that they weren't hiding anything. There's Young Pyro. Okay, let's bring this down here for you. Another land. Now I shouldn't have cycled the Archfiend. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So... Right, let's do this. We're going to Violent Outburst during their draw step. Right. Yeah, we'll Violent Outburst during their draw step. I've changed my mind. I've actively changed my mind. Okay. We'll probably cast it now. Just to stop the Cling to Dust actually taking a Pimp Fiend from our grave. Were they even targeting Pimp Fiend? They were targeting Grief. Oh, maybe actually I should have let that resolve. I don't really care about Grief in our graveyard. Like, I want to, like, check the hand, of course. Okay, so our opponent's going to Fatal Push this. We take the Bob. Our opponent's got 1 card left in hand. After they Fatal Push. No, they're going to have no cards left in hand. Nice. This card has been good. This card has been good. Unfortunately, our final Grief is not doing anything. Oh no! I should have let these resolve first. I don't think it's going to matter, but I should have let this these triggers resolve first. Oops. Okay, Cling to Dust doesn't do anything. That fizzles. Over to your opponent. I mean, we still have a 2-turn clock here, so our opponent needs to find some piece of removal. Probably has to be a path. They found something. Oh, they're just going to go Cling to Dust. That's fine. You draw yourself a card. Go for it. Would you care to attack? They do not. I am shocked. Fetch. Honestly, at this point, I don't even care about a Blood Moon, so I'm just going to get a Stomping Ground. Okay, attack time. Guess we're hard casting a Grief. Take a look at that hand. Opponent just gives up. Fair enough. Decks performed pretty well so far. Now, just remember, we are in the 2-player queues here. We're not playing like the highest level. You saw in the control matchup earlier, our opponents clearly were not playing particularly amazing. So let's make this the last one. I know I said that was the last one, but let's make it a round 5. I don't think there's anything round about the number 5, but you get my point. Ooh. We're going to keep this. We're going to keep it. Let's go. Big question is, do we want to turn 1 Grief? And I don't think we do. Let's just go ahead and Swamp. Now, I could have also played Valakut Awakening or the Valakut Stoneforge on the turn 1 here. Oh! Oh, please don't. Please don't punish me now for not playing that land on 1. We are going to cycle here. It's not likely our opponent's playing Chalice. Oh, we don't get punished. Yay. Oh my god. Are we meant to Grief here? I don't know if we're meant to Grief here or not. Let's do it. The problem we have is we have Demonic Dread, and I really want to wait for a Fulminator Mage to come down to like target with the Demonic Dread, but then our opponent's going to get an entire turn with the Tron lands. So maybe we can pick off one of the ways of searching for Tron here. Oh, do they just have natural Tron? Power Plant, Power Plant. Okay, so we take the... I think we take the Star here. Power Plant, Tower. Yeah, we'll take the Star. Okay, over to your opponent. Let's see what they find. Oh, what am I doing? Oops. They top decked an Ancient Stirrings. I would have taken that, of course. They have a Power Plant in their hand, it's worth noting. And they found the mine! No! No. Damn it. But they might not have anything in hand to actually cast. They can't cast Ulamog as it stands. Since we drew the second Fulminator Mage, I am going to just take out the mine here. Yeah, we'll take out the mine right now. Since we did draw the second one. That gives us options for next turn. So we know about this. There's one unknown card in our opponent's hand. There's the tower. There's a power plant in there as well. I shouldn't have deleted it earlier, but I accidentally did. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, our opponent's going to concede. Whew. Okay, let's go to sideboarding. I don't know what we bring in here, to be honest. Like, probably the Foundation Breakers and the Ingot Chewers. I don't think we want anything else. I don't think we need the Baleful Masteries in this particular matchup. It's just creatures and... yeah, Planeswalkers. If the Planeswalkers hit the battlefield, we've probably already lost. The only creature we really care about is Wormcoil Engine. I don't think I want to bring in 4 copies of this for a Wormcoil Engine. With that being said, this is usually one of the worst cards to deal with Wormcoil Engine, so we'll take out one Demonic Dread. We'll probably take out a Valakut Awakening. We don't really want to do anything with this. You know what, let's just make it pretty easy for ourselves and just get rid of this stuff. Just a little bit of everything. A couple of Desert Ceradons over the Monstrous Carapace. These still can be pitched to grief. Speaking of grief, hello! All of a sudden, Living End in our opening hand ain't all that bad. We haven't got a Cascade spell or a third land, but that's fine. Our opponent mulligan to 6. There's an Expedition map. There's a Street Wraith. Okay, well, we're doing it. Let's check that hand. This could have been absolutely clutch if we were on the play, because we potentially get to take an Expedition map from them. Oh, we do get to take an Expedition map, but it's a little bit too late. We're definitely not taking that Wormcoil Engine. That's not happening. Let's make sure we play a land. And we'll play the Grove and pass. Unfortunately, our opponent's going to be on the play here, so they will get to play the Wormcoil Engine before we can really do anything. They are going to have turn 3 Tron. And we couldn't really put the Wormcoil Engine into the graveyard, because then we can never realistically Living End. Although now it's tempting. I'm going to cycle this Archfiend here. I want to see what we draw. There's the third land. Huh. Okay, we're going to pass. We're going to let our opponent have this turn. Hopefully they didn't luck into a Khan. Khan would be pretty backbreaking here. Because we have the Pimp Fiend in the graveyard, if we Living End... We still need to draw a Cascade spell, by the way. But if we do Living End and they just get a couple of Worm tokens, the Archfiend, if near with the Street Wraith, should be able to deal with that. Okay, so that's our opponent's draw. It's another land. Let's cycle some Street Wraiths. Oh, that's good. Okay, we're going to cast another Grief. We might be able to just strip their hand here. Let's see what they've got going on in their hand. Sylvan Scrying is not the best ever. So they have a mine, a tower. If we take out the power plant... Okay, so that's our goal here. I think our opponent needs to top deck exactly a Graveyard Hate here to, like, get back into this game, I think. Because if they top deck... Now to have Tron, they need to have Power Plant available. And if Power Plant's top of their library, they don't have anything to cast with the mana. So our opponent's got this top deck. Okay, so we'll take 6 damage. They'll gain 6 life, but that's not a big deal because we're going to just strip everything away. Ideally. We get to double Grief as well. So unfortunately, we keep drawing a few lands at the minute, but it's to be expected. Right, so let's stop on the draw step. And we will Violent Outburst. Into Living End. Double Grief. Wormcoil tokens galore. So our opponent, yeah. Our opponent's not even gonna let us look at the hand. Man. That was impressive. This card was impressive. That was really good. Okay, so next time we play this, we'll probably put it through a league, to be honest. We only played 2 ticket queues today, but I think I've seen enough there to see that, like, this card is not bad for Living End, obviously. So it's really good. So let's talk about what didn't really work for us. Honestly, there wasn't much. Demonic Dread is still, even though it got a bit better because of Grief, it is still the worst 3-mana Cascade spell there is, of course. But, you know, I've been thinking recently about playing 4-color Living End, but literally just splashing blue, not splashing white, and we're not going into white, just literally splashing blue for Shardless Agent. So like, just put a couple of, you know, blue lands in here, and then like forgetting the Demonic Dreads, and everything else, keep everything, like basically take these out for Shardless Agent, and then you've got all of this. Like this, nothing else changes. That's it. Like you literally play Shardless Agent. No Force of Negations, no, maybe some Brazen Borrowers, we could put those into the sideboard, but that's it. And I think that could work. The only problem is then your mana base is doing a lot of damage to you, of course, which is the big problem that 4-color Living End has always had. But this card was nuts. This card was so good. Yeah, really, really happy with that. Nothing else really to say, guys. Honestly, 5 matches, about an hour and 20 minutes. Reasonably fast-paced. Technically 6, but we conceded 1 game against Merfolk because we'd already played against Merfolk. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Let me know down below. Tell me in the comment section of Facebook or Discord if you particularly liked it. I love this card. Like, I'm absolutely, like, this has reinvigorated my want to play Living End again, to be honest. This card was insane. Anyway, see you later, guys.